folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. I have a warning for you tonight. I believe that our next war will not just be fought with weapons, but it will be fought over the materials to make our weapons. See, China is kicking our butt on many, many levels. I'm grateful President Trump is back in office. I'm grateful that we are now putting a focus back on the United States military to rebuild it. But China already has a huge advantage on us. They've got an advantage when it comes to shipbuilding. They've got an advantage when it comes to their nuclear arsenal. They're expected to have 1,000 nuclear missiles by the year 2030, doubling its capacity, okay, between now and then. You look at the Navy, you look at the Air Force, everywhere China is kicking our asses, including when it comes to rare earth minerals, specifically a rare earth mineral called tungsten, used to make many of the United States military-grade weapons. Now, a little bit later in this video, I'm going to explain to you an opportunity out there where we can really take advantage of this and bring back the advantage to the United States when it comes to tungsten. So stay tuned for that portion of the video. But before we get to that, I want to go through China's military advantage on us. Do you know right now they have about 425 ships to the United States, 300 ships. That is just the Navy alone. Their shipbuilding capabilities, they can build 300 ships in a year, 1 year. And literally the United States Congress is fooling around debating over how we're going to get new submarines built, new aircraft carriers built. And again, China has made it its mission to get leverage on the United States. And again, they have that leverage when it comes to controlling many of the materials we need to build these things, including tanks. And they've got leverage when it comes to the overall capacity of their military. Now, President Trump doesn't seem too concerned that China is working with our other enemies, like North Korea and Iran and Russia, and doing exercises with them. This is President Trump. I believe this was on Air Force One.
China and Iran are doing military exercises together. Does that concern you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Why not?
Because we're stronger than all of them. We have more power than all of them. I rebuilt the military. Unfortunately, Biden did nothing with it, but I rebuilt the military. But we don't want to even talk about that. I think.
Well, I think right now, the United States military is still very strong. I don't want to tussle with China. That's the last thing that I want to happen. I certainly think we could handle Russia much more. Russia has proven that it's not in the position that we thought it was by its failures in Ukraine. But China's not a nation we want to tussle with. In the end, it would be, forget about the physical warfare. The economic damage it would do of China and the United States going to war would be beyond belief. So I do think America's military is still strong. It's just not as strong as it could be. And I think President Trump has a lot of confidence in the military. But I would privately urge President Trump to say, hey, look at the missile capabilities. China is now building hypersonic missiles to get literally from Asia to the United States. Intelligence officials are warning that China has built 300 new nuclear silos with intercontinental ballistic missiles inside those silos. They are gearing up for war, whether we like it or not. Are we ready? The answer is no. We don't even control much of the materials that we need to be ready for war if we were to ramp up tank production and things like that. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a little bit. Tank production, bullets, armor-piercing ammunition. We're reliant on China to get these materials. You can also go to uranium to power nuclear submarines. Where are we getting uranium from? China controls most of the uranium mines around the world. So all of it, from weapons to materials to build them, China has an upper hand. Well, it's not like we don't know about it. This was a hearing in the United States Congress.
By far, our biggest threat and most challenging is China. China is the first nation we've ever competed with that has both a great economy and a great military. China's entire private sector is fully committed in supporting that military development, and as such, they effectively have unlimited funding.
We don't have unlimited funding. Our nation's broke with $36 trillion in debt. Now, President Trump and the Doge team is trying to turn that around. That most certainly is a good thing. When you look at our deficit, a $2 trillion deficit, already they're finding, I think it's going to be upwards of $2 trillion in savings that Elon Musk is going to find. This will help us be able to start to build back up our military again. But then you get back to the issue of, okay, so we want to build up our military. What do we do about the materials to build this equipment? We don't have access to them right now. And this is what I want to talk about in this program. Before I do, I want you to listen to Lieutenant General Andrew Croft.
The influence of the People's Republic of China in our region is not just economic. So it's more of an effort to do more of strategic dominance. We see it with what we call state-owned enterprises in things such as port deals and other areas of activity, to include mining, logging, and illegal fishing, which I'll talk about IUU here in just a minute. But it's not just purely economic, and that's, I think, something that is often looked at.
Folks, I had to check this, double check it, triple check it. The following startling fact: how in the world has the U.S. government allowed itself to be this ignorant of the risks and dangers to its national security? There are no producing mines of a very critical and crucial rare earth metal on U.S. soil. It is 100% imported from other countries, and this particular rare earth metal is used for military applications, if you can believe it. In my opinion, this is gross incompetence. How is it that in the U.S. we import 27% of our supply of this metal from our very formidable enemy, China? Tungsten's unique characteristics make it indispensable in modern industrial, technological, and defense applications. Tungsten is used as a core material in armor-piercing shells and bullets. Its density and hardness allows it to penetrate tank armor and reinforce structures effectively. Tungsten is used in some advanced composite armors for military vehicles due to its ability to absorb and dissipate kinetic energy as well. For decades, globalization has blinded politicians, and the Chinese have become the dominators of a rare earth mineral mining process. I believe that there's never been a better time to hold American-based tungsten stocks. American tungsten, stock symbol in the U.S., DEMRF, could become the first tungsten producer on U.S. soil after decades of no mining here. American Tungsten is the sponsor of this podcast, and I believe it would serve you well to research it as soon as possible. Truth is, it's a must. The United States faces a critical vulnerability on its dependence on China for these rare earth minerals. It is clear to me, especially after my research for this podcast, that rare earths like tungsten used in so many indispensable items. The question becomes, how is China? How do they achieve approximately 70% of global rare earth production and 85 to 90% of the processing capacity, creating a strategic chokehold on the supply chain is literally beyond me. This dominance is not accidental. Over decades, China has become strategically invested in mining, refining, and exporting rare earths while undercutting competitors with power costs, forcing many U.S. operations to shut down. The U.S. now has only one operational rare earth mine, Mountain Pass, California, and it relies on China, get this, for refining the ore into usable materials. That is a glaring weakness, folks. It doesn't mine tungsten, though. In a geopolitical crisis, China could, and I believe would, use its dominance. It signaled it has and would in the past. Now, a sudden supply disruption would cripple U.S. industries, including defense contractors dependent on REEs for missile systems, jet engines, and advanced electronics. Transitioning to domestic production is slow and costly, leaving the U.S. highly exposed. This rare earth dependency risks becoming a national security crisis unparalleled in magnitude. Again, there are no producing tungsten mines on U.S. soil yet. American Tungsten seeks to become the first tungsten producer on U.S. soil. American Tungsten is advancing a significant North American past-producing mine in a region with minimal environmental and regulatory barriers compared to overseas competitors. The company's flagship asset used to be the 5th largest operational tungsten mine in the United States. I don't know if there's another mineral or metal so essential that the Department of Energy deems as critical because the U.S. produces none of it. Importing it by the boatload from China, I'm telling you folks, you and I could be shareholders in the first mover in the mining of it here in the United States. The U.S., the Department of Energy, classifies tungsten as a critical material, recognizing its strategic importance of national security, clean energy, and high-tech industries. Tungsten has the highest melting point of any metal, over 3,400 degrees Celsius. It's extremely dense and hard. Those characteristics make it indispensable application that require high heat, resistance, durability, and strength. So, folks, do your homework on American tungsten. DEMRF, that's the stock symbol. Think of the potential here. Right now, there are 0 operational mines on U.S. soil, and China has already made export bans. American Tungsten wishes to secure key strategic partnerships and non-dilutive financing with the U.S. Department of Defense and U.S. Department of Energy. I think this is going to be big. So here's what you should do. Conduct your own due diligence on the company, American Tungsten. Again, stock symbol DEMRF. We're grateful for their sponsorship of this podcast. That, folks, is going to do it for us today on Stinchfield. Thank you so much for watching. Stinchfield's Army rolls. See you soon.